Okay, so we're going to work on 11:12. We're going to work on lesson 12 today. And I saw something this morning that I thought was interesting. There are some actual accident reports that people wrote after they had an accident to give to like the state patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them says, I'd been driving for 40 years when I fell asleep at the wheel and had the accident. Here's a good one. An invisible car came out of nowhere, struck my vehicle, and vanished. The telephone pole was approaching. I was attempting to swerve out of its way when it struck my front end.
That is crazy.
So on lesson 12, we have 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. We've learned most of them. Today we're going to learn 3 letters, and we'll get credit for 1. Power. So we have a letter called Kaf,
Ha.
and in script, it looks like that. And in block, it might be a little more squared out around, but it's basically the same. And the sound that it makes is, and, yes?
May I please get my pencil pouch?
Your which?
My pencil pouch from my backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So the sound that it makes isn't really in English. We don't really have it in our language. But there's a composer named Johann Sebastian Bach. So you go when you say his name. And Bach is spelled like that. So for this sound, to represent this sound, I just put that CH. I'm sorry. Wait a minute, hold it. Well, I was getting ahead of myself. The sound of, when it has the dot in there, it has a sound of k. K. So we have a word that means because. For because, it's ki. Ki. Let's write ki a couple of times. So write it, say it. Ki. Ki.
He.
Ki. Okay, so that's because. We'll learn one word with this for now. We'll come back to this sound, okay?
Okay.
So now we're moving right along. Now there's chaf. Chaf has that sound. The sound is like in Bach. In script, it's just like this. In block, it's about the same. Might be a little more squared off. See, they're really the same letter except that it doesn't have the dot. If it has the dot, it's k. Without the dot, it's k. Okay? What if we write that? What do we have here?
Ha. Ha.
Good. Kacha. Kacha.
Ha.
It means thus, or it means so. Kacha means so. And if we go kacha kacha, kacha kacha, you say it twice, it means like so-so, not good, not bad. So I could ask you, how are you? I could say, mashlomcha. You might say, tov. It means good. Or you might say, kacha kacha, so-so. Okay. And the word that means now, so we're ayin, ach, we have a sheen, and we have a vav that goes v, achshav. Achshav means now. This is a really weird word. It's got an ayin, which is kind of strange, and it wouldn't have a k, that'd be too normal. So it has a sheen, which is not to be confused with sin. It has a vav, it's a consonant. Every letter in this is kind of strange. Achshav. So it's also very fun to say. Say achshav. Achshav.
Achshav.
Yeah. Mom might say, bring the dirty clothes down. I'm going to do the laundry. Later, Mom. Achshav, she says. Achshav. Now. Write it. Achshav. Achshav. Yes? Yes? You got it? False alarm. Okay. Now, eat or eats is ochel. Ochel. I think aleph. Ochel. Ochel. It's a verb. I eat. Ani ochel. He eats. Hu ochel. So it can be eat or eats. It's masculine. Masculine. Ochel. And you use the same word for a noun. To talk about food. This right here. This is food, right? It's ochel. This is ochel. Ochel.
In Hebrew, do you have a neuter?
No.
Okay.
Everything's either masculine or feminine. A rock is either going to be masculine or feminine. A book, it won't be neutered.
Okay.
Book happens to be masculine.
So you don't have to memorize the different verb forms for 3. You only have to memorize the different verb forms for 2.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Because for Latin, you have to memorize all the 3
Yeah,
verb forms.
yeah.
And more because you have infinitives and...
Yeah, German's like that too. German has 3 genders.
Activus, passivus, infinitivus, activus, and infinitivus, passivus, and everything. So you
You're
have to
in
memorize
a
it.
pretty high level of Latin.
I'm in Latin too.
Have you run across passive nouns?
Passive nouns.
Yeah, like loquor.
I don't.
It is a passive, but it means I talk. or I speak loquor.
No, we're mostly focusing on third person right now.
Mm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the Latin book that we're using is a storyline.
Shvi b'vakasha.
The Latin book that we're using right now is a storyline, so mostly third person. Quintus does this, Marcus does this, Julius does this, Julia does this, whatever.
Oh, you got them. Mitsuya. We have to say which page we were on. I'm about to. Yeah, page 40. We're on page 40.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we learned kaf, which is at the top of the page. And it's kind of like a backwards C with a dot in it. It goes k.
With a gesh?
Yes. Yes. And then without the dagesh, it's called a chaf, and it goes. You have words like kacha, means so, and achshav, which means now, and ochel, which means eat or eats. And now we have the third of our three letters, for which we're getting credit for one. We have the chaf sofit. Because if you have a chaf at the end of a word, let's say there are lines on our paper. Okay, in script, we're going to make our chaf like we did. We're going to give it a tail that goes below the line. In block, we're going to square it off. Looks like that. And it goes, but you only use it at the end of a word. And if it's at the end of a word, make sure you use this form. Because if you use this one, you're wrong.
It's incorrect.
If it's at the end of a word, it has to be like that.
Why do they make them like that? Like, why did they say that there's nun sofit and stuff like that? Like,
I don't know.
forms?
I don't know. I was telling a friend about Arabic. Okay, so Arabic has either 29 or 30 letters, depending on what rises to the level of counting as a letter, okay? Which, that's kind of strange. In Hebrew, we have 22 letters, period. In Arabic, it might be 29, it might be 30. Depends on what the teacher says. But for each of these letters, if it's at the beginning of a word, there might be a form for that. If it's at the end of a word, there might be a special form for that. If it's in the middle of a word, the letters are all connected, so there's going to be a form for in the middle of a word. And if it stands by itself, like if you're just listing on the paper, you go point A, point B, point C, and point D. If it stands by itself in Arabic, there's a form for that. So for each letter, there are 4 possible forms. So knowing that, you go, well, in Hebrew, okay, so there are a few letters that have a weird form at the end of a word. That's not too bad. But in defense of Arabic, I studied it, and it's beautiful.
I have to agree.
Pardon me?
I have to agree.
Yes, yes. So, with our chaf sofit, we have a word for how. How is ech. Ech. And there's another thing we do. Okay, we have a letter. See that this letter here has a tail, right?
Yes.
But if you have the same letter without the tail, that's a dalet. Okay, that's a different letter. And in their wisdom, the people that figure out Hebrew decided, we don't want people to confuse this one for this one.
Huh.
So if this one is coming at the end of a word, we're going to put 2 dots here. We're going to put a shava here.
Shva.
Or sometimes a word will go a cha, like mashlom cha. So it'll have a vowel like that. But they put it's just a convention that they have. They go, we're going to do this, and the word would be fine without it. Okay, but they say, nah, that's not good enough for us. We want to put those dots there. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody say
Eh.
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 Yeah, means how. It's for a question.
Okay.
Okay, like, how are you? We're not going to say how the same way. We're going to say, what is your peace? What is your peace? That's how we'll say, how are you?
Okay.
It depends on if we're talking to a male or a female. If we're talking to a male, we're going to go, ma. Shalom.
Shlomech.
Ma shlomcha.
Mcha.
Ma shlomcha.
Mashlom.
That's the masculine.
Ha.
That's the masculine. And if it's to a female, how are you? Or what's your peace? Ma shlomech.
Mashlomech. Mashlomech.
Ma shlomech.
So are the vowels underneath the second, are they next to each other, or are they like a snake bite?
These,
On the female
oh, they're next to each other.
versus
Yeah.
the above.
It's an A sound. A sound. Ma shlomech.
So are they up and down? Like, oh, the snake bite versus the masculine has the
Yeah, the masculine has the shava.
Shabbat.
Ma shlomcha. The feminine has
Mashlomech.
the ma shlomech. Ma shlomcha. Ma shlomech. Okay?
Mashlomech.
Ma shlomech.
Mech.
Ma shlomech.
Mashlomech.
Yeah.
Okay.
And earlier on this page, about a third of the way down, to say so is kacha. To say not good, not bad, we say it twice. Kacha, kacha.
Like alo davar?
No, alo davar means you're welcome.
Okay.
It means it's nothing.
Okay.
It's
It's
nothing.
really not for
Yeah,
nothing.
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
So I could say mashlom cha,
Mashlom.
and you could say tov
Tov.
if you're a guy, or you could say kacha, kacha.
Kacha. Kacha.
I've been better, I've been worse.
Oh, like so.
Yeah, kacha, kacha.
So you say it twice.
Mhm.
Kacha.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
versus kacha.
Kacha means so.
Just so singular,
Mhm.
which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apologize for interrupting the
And
question.
another answer for mashlom cha or mashlom mech is all right or well. It's beseder.
Besede.
At Passover, we sit down, we have a meal. It's called the seder.
Seder.
Seder means order. An order. Because you go through the book and you take things in order, okay? It's a Passover order. That's what the word means. Seder.
You mean
And-
I've
and-
been pronouncing it wrong as Seder?
No. That's correct. Seder. Seder.
But I'm saying it's Seder versus Seder.
Yeah.
Seder.
Yeah. Well, I was saying it in English, okay?
Oh,
But in Hebrew it's Seder.
it is Seder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we have B. Say. There. Beseder. All right. So say beseder.
Beseder. That means you choose.
David, say beseder.
Beseder. Beseder.
Good, good.
Beseder.
Okay. So I'm going to ask how you are, and you're going to say you're all right. Okay?
Right.
David, מה שלומך?
Beseder.
Christopher, מה שלומך?
Beseder.
Esmeralda, מה שלומך?
Beseder.
Oh, 12 minutes. Okay. Ooh. It's almost 2 o'clock.
It is.
Okay. But we kind of covered it here.
Bit. Okay.
Oh, מאוד. Good job. And Christopher will bring his homework next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I put some little notes in red here because in the homework, the book didn't really quite cover everything. So I've got little explanations of some things.
So it sounds like we're going to have to publish a new book, 0.20, with Rick's Hebron's
Corrections.
corrections or additions
Yeah.
to the
And with my script style.
with your script signs.